Hey everyone, like I said yesterday, I have a team for you all that helped me hit top 50 in the leaderboard, and it was in Great League, and it was on the backs of Carbink. This was right after I got my rank 1 best buddy Carbink, so the Carbink in my footage is actually underleveled, and it still worked wonders. So if you don't have the best IVs for your Carbink or any of your Pokemon really, a lot of times it still works really well. The team I ran is a Medicham with a Frostlass and Carbink in the back. And now this was before Clodsire was released, so if I were to make any adjustment to the movesets on the Pokemon, I would potentially put Psychic on the Medicham just to have a little bit better play into Clodsire. Although even Ice Punch against Clodsire is still a decent amount of damage, and really, once you get rid of the Clodsire, your Carbink is usually pretty good. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my league guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. So overall, a lot of people are probably wondering, how do you beat Ghost leads? Because Ghost lead, especially with a Frostlass in the back end and Medicham in the lead, is a really bad time. So I'm actually going to showcase the footage in chronological order of kind of how I faced off. And this was actually my first battle running this team, so already off to a really tough start. You know, the Carbink is pretty good into a lot of the Ghost types. So overall, it's not terrible, but Ghost in the lead is going to be a tough time. However, I was able to overcome quite a few Ghost leads, and we're going to kind of see how we play around this. So Medicham with Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch, even worse into Alolan Marowak because the entire moveset of Medicham is completely walled off. But personally, I like Dynamic Punch a lot more in a lot of different neutral matchups and some positive matchups such as Lickitung. Lantern is much better because you get to move much faster and you just hit way harder with Dynamic Punch. You know, Alolan Ninetales is another option as well. Looks like my opponent is running Obstruct, and so they are core broken by the Carbink in the back, which is pretty nice for me. Carbink in general has a lot of play in this entire team, and yeah, able to finish it off with that Dynamic Punch. Of course, if I was running Ice Punch, they could swap out in that situation. So again, one of the situations where Dynamic Punch comes in quite handy. Obviously, one of the other downsides is Azumarill and of course Charizard. So there's definitely some pros and cons to running Dynamic Punch, but overall, I'm a huge fan. All right, and Greninja, fantastic lead. Now, grass safe swaps, particularly Serperior and Venusaur, are definitely a hard time for the team because the Friendly Plant actually hits pretty hard. And if you don't know, you get to Friendly Plant at the same rate as you get to Avalanche on the Frostlass, but if they safe swap, they're going to be outpacing you. So what I like to do is throw a Ice Punch, then swap out, chip them down, because at that point in time, even if they decide to shield your Avalanche, they're closing in on Powder Snow range. So that's the best way to handle these grass types. Or if they spend a shield, then, you know, you're in a good spot too. So Greninja, definitely a pretty solid lead for my Medicham, and it's going to be pretty good into my Carbink. Unfortunately, they have a Clefable in the back. So this is kind of a core breaker in many senses. Greninja is pretty strong to my backline, but Clefable is strong to my entire line. That double super effective meter match, they don't have the bait. That is the bait move, and it's going to be the better move in general. And yeah, this is going to be a really tough time. So once in a while, you do run into these core breakers, but again, they're not super common, which is why I was able to climb a lot with this team. If you see my starting elo too, I think I started at like right under 3K range. And yeah, I was able to climb over 200 plus points in about a week, maybe less than a week actually. Of course, the meta is not really any different outside of Clodsire since when I ran this team. So again, if you run into a lot of Clodsire, especially in the lead, Psychic might be the better option, but my personal preference is still Dynamic Punch overall. Alright, Sableye in the lead. Again, another Ghost lead. Going to be kind of a tricky one for sure. They end up shielding, and I don't think I shields. Yeah, so it's not really worth shielding. We get the shield advantage at least, which is pretty nice. And Dynamic Punch against Sableye is actually not the worst. It is resisted, but it hits a lot harder than Ice Punch and Psychic. So definitely an okay option in a pinch. And here we see it's going to be a Lantern in the back, which is not the hardest check. And this is why the team works really well. The Frostlass is usually able to bait out a lot of the same things that beats the Carbink, such as Bastiodon, Registeel, Alolan Sandslash, Galarian Stunfisk, and it gives your Carbink a lot of play. As you see, my Carbink is 1481, so a little under level, but still working pretty good. All right, now I'm going to come in with my Medicham. I do throw the Dynamic Punch. They do make a great catch, but like I said, the Dynamic Punch actually does a decent amount of damage, forces the Sableye to even throw their energy, and they actually go for the return. So definitely going to be a hard-hitting move. We just have to commit to a fast move down at this point in time. Is going to be another return. We barely hang on, and we get this crucial Rock Slide off. No best buddy Carbink, no problem. Again, a pretty wild match, but there is ways to beat Ghost Leads. That's as bad as it probably gets. All right, Deoxys Defense. So this is actually a really great matchup too, because you can grab a shield advantage off of Lickitung, or you can shield and force them to burn both shields. Either way, they have to shield to win this matchup. So it's actually a pretty preferable spot to be in. If you strip away all shields, that Carbink is going to play way better into Deoxys Defense. And we end up just winning Switch, which is perfect. And now they have a Charm, Alolan Ninetales. Pretty bad in the Medicham as well. So Carbink looking pretty good, but we're just going to shield the moves here and see what happens. All right, they come back in with Deoxys Defense. And this is not a great matchup, but a much better matchup than the Alolan Ninetales for sure. And we could potentially force them to debuff themselves. So I'm just farming a bunch of energy. Psychic, no Psychic, it doesn't really matter in this situation. Dynamic Punch actually does a little bit more damage, I think, than Ice Punch. So it's actually not the worst move to throw if you can only throw one move. It looks like it's a 2 Ice Punch, so it makes more sense for me to just do a double. I get a little more damage off of that. And then we force a shield, which is kind of nice. They end up throwing a move. I think it's probably going to be a Psycho Boost. I think it was a Charge Attack priority, unfortunately, but Carbink just a really thick Pokemon, and you can tank the moves pretty well in this situation. They don't get to another Weather Ball. This is a pretty interesting lead. Overall, I like it a lot because if you can strip all the shields, you're in a good spot. So we are going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. If we land this, we can go kind of baits with the Avalanche. Looks like they end up shielding. So I think I don't shield this one. Typically speaking, if you can grab all their shields, it's not a bad situation because the energy on the Medicham is pretty nice. They can't really come back in with Dragonite very easily, so I'm going to shield because I get a lot of value with this Medicham because I'm about to have double Ice Punch at this point. So I'm just doing double shield actually. Yeah, I end up double shielding. This Medicham is going to be full on energy, and they come in with Lickitung actually, so even worse for them. Again, Dynamic Punch. Really clutch, but Dragonite is not going to be great into a Medicham with that much energy, and with a Carbink for them, that's good games. Yeah, so I've seen a decent amount of Dragonite with Lantern safe swaps, or Lantern counter swaps, I should say, for the process, and that's usually one way to play it out. If you grab all their shields, that's not a bad idea either. All right, it's because they shielded my Shadow Ball, though, that we weren't able to go for that play. We go straight for the Dynamic Punch, was going to do a lot of damage. Looks like they stay in. I really just want to chip this down so that my Carbink is more free in the back. They end up throwing another Hydro Cannon. I'm going to let this go. Not super worried about this damage. And they come in with the Charizard. I know they have to shield this, so this is going to be really good for my Carbink. And yeah, they're going to get a full farm down, but not a big deal. We come in with the Carbink. It's going to do a lot of damage. We're trying. I just got to think about what they might have in the back. Could be a Gligar, could be another Flyer, etc. Something that beats Grass, obviously. Ends up being a Regiseal. So definitely something that could be some of the Grass. It's going to be a little dicey, but again, Dynamic Punch is going to come in handy. Looks like they're going for the catch. I was kind of expecting it, so that's why I didn't throw. And yeah, we get Dynamic Punch off to take it out. SS Thorn. Actually, I didn't know this was SS Thorn back then. I didn't really know who he was, but actually the runner-up of Toronto Regional. So definitely a very skilled battler. Luckily, in this specific matchup, he was not running his signature Clefable because that would have been disastrous for my team. We're going to bait the Psychic because a lot of people expect the Psychic. You always want to build up to it. And then now we have a shield advantage. So this makes this matchup much easier to play around. Yeah, they're probably going to bait me with Surf, but we're just going to play it smart too, just because Jellicent is kind of annoying for the entire team. And again, we're just going to double shield at this point. Farm up a little bit and then throw a Shadow Ball. Should be able to knock out. Getting that shield off of the Nidoqueen was absolutely crucial for me in that situation. All right, they come in with Nidoqueen actually, which is kind of wild. So that's actually perfect for me because able to take it out. It is a pain for my backline. And then now they have the Mana Buzz. So not the best timing on my end, but we do have the Carbink, and that's going to be a hard counter to that Mana Buzz, and we're going to do pretty well into it. Gligar, I think I played this out. I think I throw the Ice Punch and then dip out. Carbink's actually not too bad into Gligar, especially if you have a higher rank one. You just have to shield the dig. But I don't know if most Gligar shield this or not. This one did not. We get some very valuable damage though. And then they come in with the Lickitung. And like I said, you can force shields in this situation, which is not too bad because shields down, that Gligar's going to lose to my Medicham with energy for sure. So we go for the back-to-back Avalanche. We do grab a shield. I think I don't know. Do I go for a shield here? I think I might. Sorry, I had a cat here in my mouth. Yeah, I do shield. Because Gligar can't very easily come into this Frostlass, so they add their shield and give up switch advantage. Doubt they come in with the Gligar. And now we have the Buzzwole, actually. They end up catching an Avalanche, which is a good catch, but this Buzzwole's not going to do great into the Carbink. And they're going to get taken out. Yeah, taking neutral damage from the rock throws is not going to be the best time for them. Pelipper. Pretty good into Medicham. Not too bad into Frostlass. I really want the Carbink on it. But it was a really great chip and dip because now I am within rock side range. And I had the shield if I want to win switch advantage. But then they could just match shields. So we're going to just try to get the shields. But I already know at this point it is a tougher situation. As you saw previous counter swap Galarian Stunfisk, it was not as clean for them. They had to spend a shield, but that chip and dip was very valuable. I'm going to throw this move on charge attack priority, so at least force them to throw all the energy they have and get kind of a strong counter down. We get the Galarian Stunfisk out of the way, which is pretty nice. However, most Pelipper leads probably have something else in the back for the rock types like a Bastiodon and stuff like that, right? They're not going to have just one check. Let's see what they have. And it ends up being Superior, which unfortunately is not going to be great for me. Superior definitely one of the harder checks to the Carbink, and Moonblast just not going to do enough damage. It is pretty bulky in its own respects. Try to go for a Rock Throw down. Not going to be able to do it. We throw another Frenzy Plant, and I'm going to try to counter down, but this is one of the matchups where not having Psychic is definitely going to hurt me because Ice Punch is just not enough damage for Pelipper. I mean, honestly, one Psychic's not enough too. You still need some extra damage. So, well played by my opponent there for sure. Capitalizing on their lead matchups and maintaining their lead throughout, all the way throughout, which is definitely a good sign of someone that knows what they're doing. We're going to throw an Ice Punch at the Dragonair and just swap right out. With that counter damage, it puts them close to Powder Snow damage. I end up not shielding the Aqua Tail, and they end up coming with Carbink. So, not too bad. The fact that I threw the Avalanche is still a decent move to throw. I probably could have gone for the Shadow Ball because I don't think I get to another move anyway. And unless they wanted to throw, yeah, they weren't going to throw. Oh, wait. Oh, I just realized, yeah. Okay, so this is Tackle Carbink. This is the biggest reason why you don't want to run Tackle Carbink. It is not the best matchup into these ghost types, especially something like Frostlass. I was like, why am I taking so little damage? And I realized, yeah, Tackle Carbink is not usually the play I would recommend. Looks like they're running Tackle Carbink and Power Punch Medicham, so running unconventional movesets all the way throughout. I am going to go for the Moonblast, though. Mainly because I don't have Psychic on my Medicham. I have no idea what their second move is. I'm just let this go. They end up shielding. We get a attack drop, which is also very, very nice. They go, it looks like they're just committing straight on for the Power Punch at this point in time. So pretty good for me. A fantastic catch actually on their Dragonair. It looks like Cranberry does not want to see how this one concludes, so we're just gonna let her dip out. They do have Psychic, which is not ideal. And then yeah, we end up getting hit by a Power Punch. We survive it though, which is kind of nice. Maybe I should have thrown the Dynam Punch. I think it does a little bit more damage. Yeah, probably would have been the better play. But we go for the Rock Throw down. I had to call bait at this point in time. Ends up being the Power Punch, which is huge. And then able to Rock Throw down. So definitely a close one. But the unconventional movesets kind of made that one very interesting. I wouldn't say it went favorably for me. Definitely the Frostlass Carbink matchup was favorable. But the Medicham Power Punch was definitely a little bit dicey. Alright, this opponent actually is throwing a Ice Punch first. And then they throw a Dynam Punch. So I had no idea I thought they were just going to go for the Psychic. Usually the reason why I shield that first move is because if they land that Psychic and you're counter swapping them, they could 2-shield and counter down and win switch. So it's not ideal. However, they're running Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch, which is super interesting. They went for the Ice Punch baits. I really don't know why, but maybe they were expecting me to make that shield call because I know that matchup. But either way, we pivot out because Medicham and Carbink have a lot of play into Dewgong, and then we pull out the Shadow Venusaur. I'm going to go for the Moonblast, mainly for a debuff because I know I only get one move off, and they're pretty much definitely going to shield because they have no health on their Dewgong. We don't get the debuff. However, I know Medicham can tank a Frenzy Plant, so I think at this point in time, I'm just going to go straight, fast move down. No reason for me to even throw any moves, but I do anyway for whatever reason. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, there really wasn't a strong reason for me to do that. Yeah, so my own personal misplay, but it'll happen. Still able to take the win, but yeah, in this situation, I don't get to 2 Ice Punch. I should just hold on to my energy. Say swap Mana Busts with Galarian Stunfisk Lead. You're thinking this is pretty good, and I don't disagree. I think it does look pretty good. However, something I noticed is also a lot of times they're using this to draw something like the Carbink or Fairy in general, and then they have like a Sableye in the back. So that's why I'm actually not throwing any of my energy. I want to whittle down this Switch Timer. I'm going to throw the Moonblast at this to, again, whittle down the Switch Timer even more. You can see we get the debuff, and now we swap in the Medicham. And we get the Medicham locked into a Sableye, which, as predicted, is a Ghost type. So this Ghost type will core break the Medicham and the Froslass. So you have the hard counter matchup, but you don't let them lure out your Carbink and, let them sweep you with the Sableye. Instead, you do all this, you pull out the Sableye so that you can realign it and then free up your Froslass for the matchup later. And we're getting some very valuable damage as well. Resistant Moonblast, no big deal. But we get another attack drop too. So super lucky on the back-to-back attack drops. First one obviously didn't make that much of an impact, but this one definitely is going to be pretty nice to have. I think either way, even without attack drop, they're pretty much in one avalanche range at this point in time. So we're just going to outpace and take them out. Yeah, I'm going to go straight for the avalanche. I guess I could have just done it earlier. I don't know. Maybe I was going for a cheeky charge attack priority. Oh, they still have another shields. Oh, that's why. But it doesn't matter. We still outpace at this point. So we are able to get to the avalanche. Sorry, I completely missed that part. But the fact that they're within one avalanche range is definitely a selling point for sure in that situation. Medicham, mirror match. Like I said, I don't have Psychic on mine. I don't know if they have Psychic, but most do. So I'm going to try to catch, and we do catch a Psychic on the Froslass. Most Medicham leads have Froslass counters in the back. So they come in with a Steelix, which is kind of a counter in some ways, but we do still grab a shield off of them, which is kind of nice. I pretty much have to throw Dynamic Punch if I want to take this out, but I think maybe I just go for a counter down. I don't know. Let's see what I do. Yeah, I think I maybe go for the counter down. I want some energy at this point in time. See how we play it out. At this point, I'm just committed. They have to come with Medicham. Now they have a Bastiodon. We have a shield advantage, so not the end of the world, but this is not a great matchup for sure. I was hoping to draw out the Bastiodon, but honestly, Carbink into Steelix is probably even more uncomfortable, so I'm kind of glad they came in Steelix. They go for the Stone Edge. I'm going to stall, and so my strategy at this point in time is stall as much as I can. Try to combo play this Bastiodon with my Medicham. You can see I'm coming in. Here comes that Dynamic Punch. Can we get both off? Oh, we actually, okay, they don't shield. They probably didn't expect the Dynamic Punch, actually, because I didn't show it. Yeah, they're probably thinking, all right, it's Psychic or Ice Punch, which both Bastiodon can take pretty well. So landing a huge Dynamic Punch to one-shot the Bastiodon is very, very nice. They end up not shielding my bait, though, so huge no-shield call from them. But I think I could just go for the back-to-back Rock Slide to take them out. Yeah, and I think we have the energy for it. So, huge call from them, but I think for me personally, it ended up being the safer play anyway. Just go for the bait because we still end up getting to all the Rock Slides. And we have our final game, of course, and it's again another Ghost lead. Terrible when you face a Ghost in the lead for sure, but not unwinnable. And they come in with Alolan Sandslash. It is going to be Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash, which is quite nice though. It allows me to get a pretty solid situation here. So I think I'm going to try really hard to win switch. Honestly, Trevenant's pretty good into Carbink as well, so I am not in the best spots. We do grab another shield, and then I think we see him charge attack priority. I was going to say CMP. It's actually cap, if you haven't seen my previous video from 2 videos ago. Goes for the undercharge though, because they realized it was charge attack priority, so good play by them. Good adjustment after probably losing track of my energy a little bit. We get the counter down, and this is not the worst because we could get the Ice Punch off, which is going to do a sizable amount of damage to the Trevenant. And now we come in and have a Digger's Beak, so really tough, right? So it's kind of hard counters all the way throughout. I think this is a quick attack Digger's Beak. Yeah, quick attack Digger's Beak. I don't think we got a debuff on the first one, which is definitely gonna be nice for me. But this is really tough, and we get attack drop, so things are definitely looking falling in place for us a little bit. Luck is a little bit on our side, but the matchups are not on our side, that's for sure. Looks like another Scorching Sand, not enough to take me out, and we get hit by a C-Bomb. Yeah, so not great. Can we get to a Moonblast though? I had no idea how I got there. Obviously the quick attack help is resist fast moves. We somehow take out the Digger Speed. What a wild battle. One of the most wild battles I've done with this team. But again, a great showcase of how well the team goes. 5-0 you can see here. This was a few weeks ago, so the elo was not as high. It's not as high now, but it was very high for back then, and was able to land me in that top 50 on the leaderboards with this team. Killer team. Absolutely wild. Like I said, if you don't have the best Carbink for PvP IVs, it's all good. Mine was under leveled and it still did great. So if you end up using this team, let me know how it goes. Again, you might have to make an adjustment with the Medicham on the Psychic instead of Dynamic Punch, but just literally after about a few days after Community Day, Cloud usage has already dropped. So obviously there's a lot of Cloud usage right after Community Day, which is why I didn't want to release a video right after that, because you probably would have not seen so much success with it. But with Cloud probably dropping a little bit lower in usage now that the hype is over after Community Day, I think this team is very viable. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch you all next time.